Yeah, well, what happened?
You told a great story about your nephew being a huge D&D fan, and I was just telling you, we're all huge D&D fans at JoBlo, and I was just wondering if you could tell us that story. That's amazing.
So I read the script and it was kind of in my orbit, and the boys that John and Jonathan had sent over kind of a care package of all things Dungeons and Dragons, and I asked my nephew to come over because he's a big player, a big D&D-er. He writes his own campaigns. He's got a weekly thing with his boys and these two dungeon masters that help him out and help him write and all this stuff. So I said, why don't you come over and we'll open it up, and we opened it up, and to see his eyes when he looked at the treasure chest of these things from the Wizards of the West, Wizards of the Coast. I was like, God, something's here. And so then we decided to play the game with my entire family, who are essentially a bunch of actors. My mom, who's an actress, my father, who's an actor, my sister, who's an actress. And I was perplexed why I hadn't been introduced to it before, because if your imagination is fired at all, it's impossible not to get into it, because you just get into it. And 3-4 hours went by, and my parents were laughing, and my nephew's having a ball. I guess what I was telling, the story I was telling, is that I had this real clear picture in my brain of why isn't something like this being taught in all schools, because it's such a bonding exercise, and I can imagine, no matter if you're the jock or the bully or the bullied or whatever, you get into a room and you have to play pretend. I'm sure the ice will break and the wall will fall, and kids who are reticent to do that will find themselves entranced by the game as much as we were.
Thanks so much.
Here's the thing. We're a team of thieves. And when you do this, you're bound to make enemies. Sometimes those enemies come looking for revenge.
What was it like doing massive action role like this with swords and just being a complete action star? What was that like?
I mean, in a word, fun. It was just fun. It was wish fulfillment of everything that you want growing up as a kid. It's like I got paid to swing a sword around and slay dragons. I got no words for that, dude. It was awesome.
You look pretty cool doing it, man.
Thank you very much. I tried. I got to wear a cape.
So
I got to break the no capes rule.
Let me ask you, though, what it is about Dungeons & Dragons you think, though, that have kept people compelled for such a long time? Because it feels like this cult that's never going to die.
I think it's the community
should it?
aspect. I think it's the fact that you have to get a group of friends together and you have to be generous with each other. That's what the whole game mechanic pivots on. You have to kind of sit down and offer your imagination, offer your sense of fun, and you got to bounce off other people. You got to bounce off what they offer you. You got to be friends with your dungeon master. I know that's going to be an unpopular opinion. Be nice to your dungeon master, and they need to be nice back to you. It's a two-way street, you know.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Truth be told, we helped the wrong person steal the wrong thing. We didn't mean to unleash the greatest evil the world has ever known. But we're gonna fix it.
So how do we pull that off? Figure it out over a drink?
Probably best.
How are you?
Hey, I'm really psyched to talk to you, man. I grew up watching you as Sam Weir on Freaks and Geeks, but your character was a huge D&D fan, so you've kind of come in full circle, right?
Oh man, absolutely. And when I did that episode where my character played D&D, I was familiar with the game, but I had never played it before, and so we did this kind of fake little campaign with the cast just to get familiar with it, and it was eye-opening for me, and I never stopped playing it after that.
Nice. One of the things that I loved about the footage that I saw was how legitimately funny it was. But you guys said something kind of cool about how, it is kind of one of those things we're all joking around when we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and that is in a way very true to the franchise, I think, or to the game.
Yeah, that was very intentional, that the tone capture what it's like to play a campaign of D&D, where everybody brings their best sort of efforts to the team effort. Nobody can really do it alone, and it's often laugh out loud funny. And so that's the spirit of the movie. It's got heart and it's got action and it's got huge stakes, but you're also going to laugh a lot.
Yeah, that was really important to us too, is not forgetting about the stakes. We never wanted the comedy to kind of undermine the obstacles that they were facing. So it was a real kind of tightrope walk and balancing that tone.
Speaking of action, so I thought Game Night had some pretty amazing action, and it feels like you guys were really kind of building towards doing a big movie like this with that one. That's what I thought.
Oh yeah, I mean we exhausted our budget on Game Night to try to make it as big and much of a spectacle as we possibly could, and to have this tool set at our use was like the most incredible thing.
Jonathan, are you excited by the fact that people seem to be embracing the theatrical experience again, especially with something like Top Gun being such a massive hit? Now you know people are going to come out and they're going to see it on the big screen the way it was meant to be seen.
Oh yeah, I mean a movie like this I think works so well in a group environment. If you watch this at home, I think you're going to miss some of the fun of that sort of communal experience, because it just, you're going to laugh together, you're going to react together. There's some jump scares in there. That's always fun to do in a theater. This is exactly the kind of movie that's worth going out to the theater for.
And it seems like Dungeons & Dragons has kind of really re-entered the mainstream, though, especially with all the kids in Stranger Things playing it and making it kind of cool again. Do you think the timing is just right for something like this? And I'm hoping that I'm going to see a large franchise start from this, because it looks really cool.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think it's now is a better time than ever to unleash this to the world, because D&D is finding its kind of spotlight in a way that it always deserved.
Well, thanks a lot for your time, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What is it exactly that you bring to this?
I'm a planner. I make plans.
You've already made the plan, so
If the existing plan fails, I make a new plan.
you make plans that fail.
No,
He also plays the lute.
not relevant.